Hello, BookTube. Operating on the strict assumption that if one mail haul in a day is good, two mail hauls in a day will be even better, we're going to do another mail haul. I got a few more packages, and I love doing this, so we're just going to try it. If it turns out that the video is a dud, I won't upload it. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the rest of the books that came today. I like to get 8. 8 is enough. I like to get 8 books a day at least, and this will do it. So let's. And Frida likes 8 books a day as well. she has needs. BookTube. She has needs. Ooh. 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 Okay, I think this is next year. Yes, it is. Okay, this is February, but it's gonna be a good one. It's Colin Eagledon. It's the Falcon of Sparta. Look at that. There's Thermopylae. Oh my. Just a classic Foursquare action-oriented historical novel, I bet. He returns to the world, to the ancient world, with a ferociously violent epic. Based on one of history's most epic stories of adventure, The Falcon of Sparta masterfully depicts the ferocity, heroism, and savage bloodshed of the ancient world. 401 BC. In the ancient world, one army is feared above all others. The Persian king Artaxerxes rules an empire stretching from the Aegean to northern India. As many as 50 million people are his subjects. His rule is absolute. But the sons of Sparta are eager to play the Game of Thrones. Okay, all right. So this will be a Thermopylae novel, and there are plenty of those, and that doesn't detract at all. They're all good in their own way. Stephen Pressfield's novel, I think, is probably the most popular one ever, including massively popular with the U.S. Armed Services. You go to an army base, you're going to find that book everywhere in the world that you go. But there's also the graphic novel, Frank Miller's 300. Frank Miller's original graphic novel, 300, before it was made into a hypnotic movie, was really good on its own. So this will be the latest story of Thermopylae. Oh, wonderful. Okay, great. All right, we're off to a fine start. Foursquare historical fiction. Let's see what this next one is. Do you want cardboard? Cardboard's a little much for you, isn't it? You're a delicate little puppy. Okay. This is also in the new year. Okay. Okay, it's a debut, which is great. It's called Mothers by Chris Power. Slightly smaller than average trade paperback. I'm thrilled to share with you the masterful short story collection Mothers by Chris Power, but it's his debut. So it's not masterful, by definition. But still, it could be really good. It was highly acclaimed in the UK and drew comparisons to Alice Munro and Peter Stam. In this book, Powers brings to life a cast of all too human characters, each of whom must confront some slippery outer limit to their understanding, abilities, powers, and wherewithal, each time to a surprising end. The first story of this intriguing collection introduces a book-length arc, 3 stories followed by following the character Eva through different stages of her life. First as a child, then as a young woman, who follows her mother's outdated travel guide through Europe, and finally as a mother herself. Eva gives the collection its titular stories, the Mother's Triptych. Okay. The author lives and works in London, and he has a column. He has a regular column. I don't have a regular column. Wish I did. His column is called A Brief Survey of the Short Story, and it's appeared in The Guardian since 2007. Might be worth reading. In fact, it is. I guarantee you I'm interested in reading that. Okay, great. So this comes out in, it's a debut short story collection. Comes out early next year. Let's see. Let's see what this next one is. She uses her front paws as hands. It's like having a capuchin monkey for a pet. Oh, okay. Wonderful. This is also next year. This is, I think, another debut. Yeah, this is another debut. This is The Far Field by Madhuri Vijay. Follows a young woman's search for a lost figure from her childhood, a journey that carries her from cosmopolitan Bangalore in southern India to the mountains of Kashmir and to the brink of a devastating political and personal reckoning. Fairly substantial thing. In the wake of her mother's death, Shalini, a privileged and restless young woman from Bangalore, sets out for a remote Himalayan village in the troubled northern region of Kashmir. Certain that the loss of her mother is somehow connected to the decades-old disappearance of Bashir Ahmed, a charming Kashmiri salesman who frequented her childhood home, she is determined to confront him. But as soon as Shalini arrives, she is brought face to face with Kashmir's dark politics, as well as the tangled history of the local family that takes her in. Nice and textured. Sounds ambitious. Wonderful. Okay, so this comes out in mid-January. So that's two fiction debuts. That's fun. And all fiction so far, and all next year so far. So we have one package left to break that streak. Is this still going to be fiction? Is it going to be another debut? Is it going to be another 2019 release? Let's find out. Let's find out together. Oh, okay. All right, what is this? This is almost certainly a 2018 release. Yeah, this comes out in October. This comes out right away, right around the corner. This is from the Belknap Press of Harvard University Press, and it is the second creation of fixing the American Constitution in the founding era. I think we might have seen this already. In the decade after the 1788 ratification of the United States Constitution, one now-forgotten truth was self-evident. The nation's founding document was shrouded in ambiguity. Though America's shared historical narrative holds that the law of our land was hotly contested in the Constitutional Convention, but set in place thereafter, there was in fact deep uncertainty at all levels of society about not only the meaning of the Constitution's words, but also about the fundamental nature of a Constitution. Was it a finished document capable of addressing all potential issues, or was it necessarily incomplete, either by design or because of the limitations of its human authors? If it was unfinished, how was it to be completed, and by whom? As James Madison himself observed in 1789, we are in a wilderness without a single footstep to guide us. Okay, I don't remember this. I don't think we encountered this before. That sounds really good. It sounds like just the kind of meaty thing I want to read. And the author is Jonathan Gainap. He's assistant professor of history at Stanford University. He's a scholar of the early political American culture and has written several articles on early constitutional history and modern constitutional theory and interpretation that speak to current political concerns. And do I interpret from that author bio that this is his first book? I'm not really being told here, but that's my interpretation. Isn't it yours? Surely if you wrote other books, they'd have been mentioned. It talks about articles that he's written. It makes this all the more impressive sounding. So, okay, so we have a bunch of books that I'm not going to read because they come out next year, and then we have one that's due, one that I'll be reading right around the corner. In fact, this sounds really good, so I might get to that this weekend. So we have the second creation, the living quality of the American Constitution. Then The Far Field, a big, sprawling historical novel, or debut novel. And then a smaller debut novel, Mothers, a collection of short stories by an author named Chris Powers. And then, certainly not a newcomer, we have the latest book by a tried and true hand of his own little patch of fiction. This is a historical novel by Con Eagleton, this time about the gates of Thermopylae. Wonderful. So, 3 fictions and 1 nonfiction, and the nonfiction is kind of urgent. The nonfiction I kind of want to get to right away. So that That was a fun second mail haul of the day. I don't think there'll be a third one. I don't think there'll be any other videos today. I mentioned that I have certain writing deadlines that are in quantum flux, and it's starting to look like I'm going to need to do an enormous amount of work this weekend. Fine by me. I'm in the very happy position of really loving the work I do, but nevertheless, it cuts into everything else. So I'll wrap this up for now, but I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.